Pickaxe.
Join us at patreon.com/castparty for a whole plethora of exclusive goodies. 5-day early access to every Cast Party episode, including Nocturne, ad-free episodes, behind-the-scenes info, exclusive bonus monthly one-shots, access to our community Discord, where our community plays D&D games together, has game nights, and hosts so much more, all for less than the price of a single cup of coffee per month. Aren't convinced? Try out a free trial. 7 days free to check out the content that we offer only exclusively on our Patreon. Patreon.com/castparty. Support your favorite D&D podcast, all while getting some awesome perks. Patreon.com/castparty. See you there, casting crew.
Welcome, cast and crew, back to Nocturne, a Curse of Strahd adventure. That's not right. My name is Ryan McManus, and I'll be your director for today. You can find me running the Cast Party socials at Cast Party D&D, or on my personals at Ryan.McManus, and I'm joined today by my festive cast and crew, ready to embark on a festival. We have Vince.
Hi, I'm Festive Boy Vince. You can find me at Dr. Stoice, and I'm playing Theren, the man of hope seeking retribution.
Wham bam. We have a Christian.
Hi, I'm Christian. I'm playing Enzo, Death's favorite dog, but nowadays he's colored in crayon, I think was the thing I said last time. But, yeah, I'm feeling festive.
That's 2.
Well, May, are you feeling festive?
Zielle is. Zielle's pretty much always feeling festive. I mean, festivals are like her job. So my name's May, and I'm playing Zielle, Festival Queen, Festive Queen, and she's ready to slay in all meanings of the word at this festival here today. I'm May LaFay on social media.
Back for his 16th festival, we have Jose.
On this 16th festive day, I am feeling festive. I'm playing as Alizzato, best Veered in Vallaki, especially on festive days.
And our festive finale, we have Betty.
Hi, my name is Betty. I am Betty the Beholder on TikTok and Instagram, and I play Dahlia, your constellation of melancholia, who is filled with such deep despair that I don't know she could ever feel the feeling of festive, but like, if she could, this is probably just about as close as she can get.
All right, the Cast Party Discord told me during our last live listen party, patreon.com/castparty, come join us where we get all together and with the fans and listen to each new episode of Nocturne live all together, and you get early access of every single episode.
It's so fun.
Told me that I should do a haiku for this poem. So here we are. Wachter boy got punched. Fiona promised less death. Put rebels in place. Thank you. With our group leaving Wachter House and everyone going their separate ways before the big event tomorrow, promising each other that you'll meet bright and early at the Blue Water Inn, I'd like to fast forward just a little bit through the remainder of the night. But one thing I would like to know, however, is what you guys are doing for the rest of the evening. Just provide me a quick description of how you're feeling, what you're doing to prepare yourselves for the festival to come. Let's start with Alizzato.
Alizzato would probably just walk around Vallaki for some time, take in the area before the next day, doing like a commune with nature, but without actually like casting anything, just allowing the space around him to dictate his movements and his train of thoughts before eventually he lands at home. Once the door is shut and the darkness kind of takes over the entire area, it's a frantic and manic conversation with himself, where he's just toying with this idea of what is to come and what is his part in all of it, and anger or frustration. But he would have been very fixed on Isaac. Sits around his home, gets up and looks over at the 2 portraits that are etched onto the wall. And he focuses more on the second one, the one of Alizzato. Speaks with him and asks for guidance, a sort of unanswered prayer sort of situation. But that anger that then fuels him, it's all that he can see, just Isaac. This connection that he has with Isaac, this injustice that has been done upon him many years ago. Where Alizzato now finds understanding of what his purpose could be, there is still a very personal drive that really clouds his judgment. But in that, he finds some peace and allows himself to rest. For the first time in some time, I guess maybe before meeting his new friends, he washes his entire body. He cleanses himself. He washes his beard, his hair, really only to the moonlight. It's a vibrant red hair. Allows himself to be in the moment, in the quietness of his home, with the breeze rolling in, every now and then speaking to his parents, but more so speaking to himself.
Let's go to Dahlia next. What does Dahlia find herself doing, or even staying the night before an event like this?
After they kind of do their due in town, and it's clear everybody's going to kind of go do their thing, some people blend into the shadows, but she doesn't, because she is so fucking white. It's painful. So she kind of blends into the space between and is going to try and get out of the village. She has been meandering about the woods for a couple days, so she's going to go to where her home base was in the woods, I suppose. It's not anywhere near Alizzato's house, so they wouldn't have run into each other in the woods. But it's kind of like she took a couple fallen trees and just leaned them against another tree. It's really bad. But under the trunk of this tree that she's homed herself in, she's really familiar with this area, and there is a mound of dirt under the tree. Well worn. You wouldn't recognize it for anything if you weren't Dahlia. But she knows this spot, and she came back to this spot. Kind of camp out there. Gather what, maybe she had like a shawl there and maybe a couple rations, but not much there. She's going to kind of become a ghost again and observe the watch. She wants to figure out where they might be when the time comes tomorrow and how many of them might be coming. Just kind of suss out numbers more than anything else. So she'll kind of be observant of that. As she sleeps, she has horrible nightmares always. Kind of wakes up to all of her magic just kind of floating in the air around her. It's white dots that form kind of vague constellations, but you can see her breath. It's freezing. And every morning, she always wakes up to her magic being about her. She takes 10 minutes and centers herself, speaks out loud to the people that she knows are listening. Specifically, she puts her hand on the mound next to her that she slept next to, and will speak out loud the events of the last day. And I ran into this group of people, and one of them looks so much like Rowan, you would lose your mind. And just kind of talking out loud. As she is doing that, really centering herself in her magic kind of comes back to her. Functionally, this is her casting a spell that's a Melska tool that will be very useful to us later. She will squeeze a handful of dirt into her hand, and as she's walking, just kind of rub the dirt between her hands as she heads back into town, into the Blue Water Inn, and will sit at the exact same table and begin carving over the exact same place that she carved into last time they were here.
Enzo, what's your night looking like?
Enzo, who got smacked pretty good in that fight with an arrow, he's gonna walk back to his house. As he does, it's a lot of coming to terms with a very, very new reality that's changed in the span of a couple of days. Going from being a decently respected member of the guard to now becoming a fugitive who punched a kid in the face is an interesting shift. As he sort of gets back to his house, he greets his family. His wife is there, his kid is there, and they have a moment where they have to also rationalize the change. For Enzo, it's a lot of having a conversation of explaining, I think, to his wife, like, hey, this is something that I need to do. I think that this is something that I need to like see through to the end. This is important to me. I think I've been quiet for like too long. The things that I've allowed to happen are kind of a little bit on my hands, and I'm not okay with that. So it's time to change that. I could have changed more if I had done more, and I didn't. So there's a lot happening there. And then I think the conversation with his daughter is a lot more like, hey, I'm probably going to be gone for a little bit, but that's okay. It's all going to be cool. I'm going to be back. You're going to be fine. It's going to be fun. You've got your little stuffed fox. It's all going to be cool. And then, of course, he's got like this sort of helmet that he takes with him that's just sort of like these 3 fins on the top of it and this like angry looking metal face mask. Got 2 eye holes and 6 breathing holes in the front of it. Angry is the vibe of the gear. And then he grabs this massive looking blade, and I would describe it as like this big rectangular blade. It's all blade, and then in the blade is a handle. So it's not like a blade that leads to a handle. It's like somebody carved a part out of the back of the blade and put a handle in there. He spent his night going over the maps of the city, trying to figure out the best ways to navigate should things go south, where things will come from, if there are reinforcements, or if Isaac tries something, or if the rebels try something, just trying to get the best idea, I think, from his days of being a guard captain of like, okay, what is the most ideal situation and what is the worst case situation, and how would I handle both of those? And then I think, yeah, he sleeps a little bit, wakes up to go out in the morning, puts on all this gear, he's sort of shirtless. He's got this like coiled tattoo that goes around his bicep that comes over and sort of like turns into two different dragons that are coiled in an infinity symbol. He's going to head out, and as he's sort of on his way, he finds this like small stuffed fox that's been tucked into his belt along with his stuff. He's going to keep that with him and head to the Blue Water Inn.
Can I bug you for a history check too, before we jump to Zielle?
That's a 4.
From your previous meetings amongst the guard, most of the time you find yourself working a little later into the nights, so the important information is for those who are awake. During the day, you find those meetings to take place a little more often, especially regarding the Festival of the Blazing Sun. Really, the only thing that you've been able to gather amongst this information is not the routes or the parade or anything. You could guess it might take the same route as the parade previous. What you do know is the final portion of this parade is to end in the town square, and the sun is to be hoisted and lit on fire. And Zielle.
Zielle will say bye to everyone. She'll wander off without really a specific direction in mind, just kind of going on a walk. She's definitely having a lot of thoughts, doing a lot of pondering. I think subconsciously she goes towards the orphanage because she hasn't been there since she fell to that vampire spawn in front of it, so she's got her hood on and everything. She's trying to be as incognito as Zielle can be. She'll like kind of go and do like a drive-by to like just make sure the building's not on fire and they're okay on her way back to the inn. Zielle she definitely doesn't have any sort of routine. Like she's never, I guess, she's had jobs that were like more important or serious than other jobs, but it's not like she's ever had to like prepare for battle like this. So I think she just starts doing things to not be doing nothing. So she'll probably do a lot of praying to Suni, thinking back on her talk with Dahlia earlier in the day and apologize for doubting her. And also she's scared. She won't tell anyone, but she's definitely like nervous. And so she's trying to put all of that into her prayer to Suni and probably like just shining her blade and her armor and stuff, since she only needs to have her little 4-hour meditation. So she's got a long time to just ramble off to Suni. And then I have one more thing after Theren goes.
And finally, Theren.
We all really know his nightly routine. He gets into his room, he sits by the window, he keeps watch, and he will take care of Baron. Before he goes there, though, he's probably going to try to get a good lay of the land, just see how things are around town, wherever he feels safe enough, I guess, good enough to be able to go without being spotted or anything of that nature. Trying to go around town and feeling on edge. You can see him walking around with his hand on the hilt of his sword. He's just keeping a good lookout everywhere, but again, trying to get a good feel of how are things going in certain parts of town, where are good exit strategies, where are good hiding spots, anything to help out with tomorrow. And after giving a good walk around and seeing areas that aren't even affected by the fires or anything like that too, he'll head back to the Blue Water Inn, try to help out downstairs as much as he can before he goes into his room as well.
Are you sleeping in your room tonight?
Is Theren's room next to Zielle's? It is, right?
Yeah, they're right next to each other.
I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, but assuming that I only need 4 hours of sleep, so even if you stay up pretty late, probably at some point I would hear you come back to your room?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm probably coming back before you're even like going into meditation or anything like that.
Okay, well, in that case, I would like to cast message. She'll just point to the wall. She'll give it a minute, like after she hears him come back. She doesn't want to jump him, but also it's Zielle, so she's not going to wait that long. she'll cast message and you'll hear her voice in your head. She is not trying to scare you. She knows how to do it to scare people, and she knows how to do it to like just be like, hey, and it's that. It's like, hey, are you gonna get some sleep tonight? And you can respond if you would like.
You wouldn't get a response back for a little while. It's like almost being left on red.
Damn.
And then maybe a half hour later.
Can you respond a half hour later? I don't know if you can.
Like, you know how like if you have an iPhone or something, you could see like the little bubbles of like the texting coming up?
He's just continuously trying to type.
Okay, all right.
He's
all right.
rewording it 10 times. You know?
Wow.
But hilarious if he does wait the 30 minutes.
I just hear him sighing in my head.
Yeah, all you hear is sighs every once in a while.
Is that a no?
After a little while, he will respond back. I honestly don't know.
She doesn't respond right away. She's not going to leave you on red for a half hour, but she takes a beat and then asks, would it help to sleep in a different room? Because it seems like a kind of important night to sleep, to rest.
If you believe it would be best for all of us, I am willing to come to your room.
She'll take a breath. She will not send the sigh over the message. Yeah, I think that's best for all of us if you actually sleep tonight. My door is unlocked.
We'll say maybe like an hour or two later, you hear a slight knock at the door.
Well, I hope it's not a murderer, since I haven't talked to anyone recently about... Oh, Theren, come in.
I'll come through the door and you can see that I'm coming in again the same way as I did before, with Baron in hand, hair down. This time though, you could see that I look a lot more groomed, but I'm also carrying all of my armor and everything with me.
You can put it by mine over there. Get some rest. She's like sitting in front of... If there's like a mirror or something, she'd probably be sitting... That's where she's like doing her little prayer and...
I don't care where you are, Zielle has a vanity, no matter what. Like, it's canon in my brain.
Okay, well that's where I am.
And this time I'm gonna stab Baron right in front of the head of the bed there, so that he's just easier access to get to.
I'm not gonna say anything.
I will lay in the bed.
Zielle, as you then begin to get into your meditative state, you hear Theren slowly begin to trail off. At least you know he's finally getting some sleep, especially towards the end of the night, where you are coming towards the end of your meditation. Zielle, how do you meditate?
Different ways, but I think currently she is doing most of her prayer and like appreciation and whatnot to Suni is in front of a mirror with some like candles lit in front of her, as is traditional. She's just kind of sitting there, got her little jammy dress on. She definitely has her hair in like two little braids because like then it'll be in perfect curls in the morning, you know? So she's just doing a little cross-legged sit in front of the mirror.
Are your eyes closed? Are you looking at yourself in the mirror?
I think your eyes are closed.
As you're deep in that meditative state, the sun is very relevant, especially for the morning to come. It's really all you can see in a blue sky among the city of Avrosa, at least behind your closed eyelids. Before, in a near split second, and only for a moment, it's eclipsed by just pure darkness as a voice rings in your ear. Watch him. As Theren, you find yourself in somewhat of a dream state, lolling off after finally sleeping in a bed comfortable and protected. And you open your eyes to find Baron standing facing away from you atop a pitch black lake. One arm is gone at the elbow, and the other reaches out to you as he begins to turn. And as he turns his body to face you, you see the ever-looming blood moon rising in the horizon as he outstretches his hand, almost beckoning you or pleading for you. You hear a voice that floats across the water as it begins to ripple violently at your feet. Time is ticking. He is fading, and what do you plan to do about it? As Zielle, you are disrupted from your meditation by the sound of cracking metal. You hear Baron Theren's sword that he carries with him every day crack and then fall over as one prong is stuck in the floor. The other finds itself lodged to the sword as it begins to clang onto the ground. Theren, as you shoot up, you see that one prong of the bident end of your sword slowly begin to turn to ash as it's stuck in the floorboards itself. Theren still remains, though one side of the sword is gone. Theren, you now have a +2 longsword. You're going to keep the same damage as your greatsword. We're just going to rename it a longsword for flavor, as it has shrunk significantly in size ever since you got to Barovia. This sword, twice per long rest, Theren. On a successful melee attack, you may spend your reaction to cast an Eldritch Blast within melee range without imposing disadvantage on yourself.
Whoa.
If the Eldritch Blast is successful, you may choose whether the creature is knocked back 5 feet by this Eldritch Eruption. The other feature of your sword is no more.
She looks over to where the sword has fallen.
I want to rush down onto the ground and try to grab as much of it as I can before it all disintegrates.
Hop down on all fours. You begin scooping up the ashes. Some are sinking into the floorboards and into the wood itself. Others are just disappearing in the wind, as if it was a campfire and the ashes are just floating through the air. You're able to get maybe a handful, if you're lucky.
Baron, grab the sword and try to just shove more of it into the sword. See if it absorbs it or anything. Just aggressively trying to do anything to keep that state that it was before.
You're trying to shove these ashes into the sword, almost like you're adding on extra clay to a pottery piece, though nothing is sticking. They are sliding off the slick steel and evaporating before they can even touch the ground once more.
Stay. Baron, do not go. Please. Please, Baron. I'm going to punch the end of the sword. The vibration of it goes all the way to the tip of it, and then right off the tip, you can see Baron come out of it, and I just want to see how he looks standing in front of me.
As the purple mist flows from the hilt of your sword and begins to take shape right in front of you, it begins to coalesce as the legs begin to rise up from the floorboards. Though when it gets to the waist, that's when things get a little different. You can see his torso begins to slope inward. That arm that was chopped at the elbow is now no more. He has no right shoulder. It is as if someone took his right side of his body and nearly cut down it, along with his right eye and part of his face. You see it just being mist. That's all Baron is in this form. He's steaming as if he got out of a hot bath, where the portions of his body used to be.
I'm going to drop the sword onto the ground and just go over to him and grab him and try to inspect every part of his body to see what's now missing. After noticing all the different parts, just grab onto him as hard as I can and pull him close.
You can see in Baron's one eye that it is just pure shock. Similar to Brunch, when he manifested and realized his arm was gone, sitting in front of Zielle. But now a little more so, as it's a near defeated, dead stare, as he embraces you and at least wraps his one remaining arm around and rests it at your lower back.
Zielle, you can hear Baron start to cry. He starts shaking as he's holding on to his little brother and just bawling into his shoulder. You could hear a slight whisper coming from him. He just says, I will make you whole.
Zielle's just been like frozen in front of the mirror like a cat that like doesn't want to be seen as she's just watching this happen. Once he's kind of settled into this sad position, she'll just quietly walk over and she'll lean down and just put a hand on his shoulder. Doesn't have anything to say right now, but she is just there.
Promise me you will help bring him back. Promise me you will help end this son of a bitch who is doing this to him.
Of course. Does he still talk to you?
I think he just did. And this is his message.
I really thought he was gone, but
I still hear him in my head too. And I don't want to. I don't want either of us to. Whatever we have to do to help Baron, we'll do it.
The things I must do. Please. Will you forgive me?
I would forgive anything that you did for love. Whatever you have to do, if you do it out of love, then... well, it'll all be all right then, won't it?
He's going to let go of one hand from Baron, and it's just going to grab your hand. And you feel it get really tight.
No more preaching. I'm letting him have his moment.
As the tears begin to fall, where those ashes once did, we are going to fast forward to the early afternoon, where the five of you find yourself down at your table once more, all together, ready to face the day.
Just so I'm clear, are we all just sitting around this table in dead silence right now?
That's the vibe I'm getting.
There's no drinks, there's no food, it's just silent.
Contrary to that, I do think there is exactly one plate of food and one drink, which is Enzo, who does not pick up on the social cues at all.
So fair.
Who's just kind of eating and like awkwardly like looking up every now and again to try and make eye contact with people who are not making eye contact back. And I guess he's just like, well, this is the mission vibe. That's fine, you know? So I will kind of offer the plate around if anybody wants some. I think it's just probably like eggs and some unnamed meat.
Zielle, take one bite.
Alizzato keeps doing that thing where you clearly have a snack, but you said no, you didn't want any before, but now you're like, I really want some. Every now and then looks and then meets eyes with you, Enzo, and then maybe waits for you to be like, yeah, go for it. And then he'll be like, all right.
So he gets to a point where he's eaten most of it. And then he sees that eye contact and then he just is like, oh, you know what? I think I've eaten enough. And he just sort of like slides it away, but kind of in your direction with the fork like still on the plate, just giving the full like, I'm done with this if you want to finish it vibe.
Thanks, Enzo. But like already reaching for the fork.
All he uses is a fork?
But like caveman grips it.
It's like
there
upside
it is.
down.
There
Yeah,
it is.
absolutely.
There it is.
As Alizzato drops that fork on a nice clean plate, everyone begins to push out their chairs, make their way for the door, and you begin walking towards the center square. The air around you is heavy, and the atmosphere is reflected near perfectly in the decorations that are set up for this festival. It is nothing but forced happiness. There are streamers lining the streets of different colors, though the end is wrapped to a post of a now burned down building. There are posters promoting the festival that are now smeared with blood or have slash marks from vampire claws. Dead bodies that haven't even been gathered for the funeral pyre yet are now tucked away down alleys, out of sight, out of mind. But the citizens flock in droves to the town square. Much less smiles this time around compared to when you first arrived. There's a sense of unease, of rage, of sadness, like the slightest little misstep could cause an ocean of chaos. There are adults with blank faces, others gritted teeth, children crying, seeing the aftermath of their city once more, paralleled with those who are ear to ear grinning as they walk down the streets, just awaiting for the festivals to begin. And as you enter the town square, you have a moment to yourselves as you hear the creaking of wagon wheels and upbeat music playing a couple streets down.
Dahlia, as soon as they left, she can do anything. It is mirror people's personalities and attitudes. She is like full ear to ear smiling, but her mouth is like too big and like her teeth sit weird in her mouth, and it just is very like uncanny valley. Like it's super, like you would think she was not a human person if you looked at her, but she's like just fully smiling, kind of going along with it. If there's like popcorn or like cotton candy on this, so she'll like grab some and like as they're walking down the street.
You're the emo kid that the family brought out and ends up actually having a good time.
Yeah, I'm like, this is it, guys.
I relate, bro.
That's fine.
I'm gonna elbow Zielle a little bit, standing next to her, seeing all this go down. We're gonna die, aren't we?
Yeah, you should smile.
Alizzato probably turns around and with also a wide grin looks at you and he goes, "We probably fucking are. Come on, Theren. Smile away."
Popcorn?
Just without looking at Dahlia, Alizzato does the reach, finds the popcorn, and just horks it down some of his
It's
beard.
like way too much to fit in his hand.
Yeah, way too much.
Me at the movies, baby.
And then just puts it down. Have some fucking popcorn, Theren. It's delicious.
Yeah. We're gonna die.
Well, let's make it a good show then.
Let's.
While they're munching on their popcorn, I'm gonna cast Aid, second level spell, and it allows me to choose 3 people within range to increase their maximum / current hit points by 5. So I'm gonna cast that on Enzo and Theren and I think our healer on Dahlia. For the next 8 hours or until you die, you have 5 more hit points. It's almost like you feel a little bit of hope for a second, you know? A little warm, fuzzy feeling inside. And you're like, maybe we won't die.
I think Enzo, hearing this conversation, we're all gonna die. Let's make it a good show. They're like eating popcorn and being like weirdly cavalier about this. It's going to get like, oh no, it's one of these groups. No. I'm going to cast second level pass without trace.
Exciting.
So anybody within 30 feet gonna have +10 bonus to stealth checks.
I love this spell.
And we can't be tracked except by magical means. So basically, if anybody's looking to see where we're at in this crowd, they're not going to know. So I think that what that looks like for Enzo is like, as you guys are like, we're going to die, he's just going to sort of do like a very dad thing and be like, okay, down here, you're going to say that, but you're saying it just to me. Okay. We're not telling everyone. No, everyone is on this trip with us. It's just us. Right. And lose the popcorn. And he like tosses the popcorn out somewhere else to try and like get somebody in the crowd to like move in that direction. Just sort of like causes a little bit of a kerfuffle to try to like mask where we are in the group. But a little bit of purplish elvish magic is kind of coming out as well. So it's a little spicy.
At the same time as this is happening, Zielle, amidst your conversation and your preparations, you feel a very light tap on your shoulder.
Can I like try to not fully turn my face and like look at my peripherals to like see who it is? I assume she has like her hood up, like whatever she can to be slightly less conspicuous.
Peeking out the side of your hood, that's really all you see is a hood.
Hello?
You feel a very small hand rest upon your shoulder as this figure leans into you. I was hoping I'd be able to find you guys here. You see this figure begins to pull back the cloak only slightly as the red hair begins to fall and the face of Irina gives you a little wink out of the corner of your eye.
Get out of here!
Irina, what are
Don't
you
be
doing
here today!
Wait. What are you doing here? They wouldn't come into the church to get you, would they?
You can't let me have a bit of fun just for one day.
Girl, this is not gonna be fun.
It's a festival. What do you mean?
Have we not at any point disclosed our plan to Irina?
No, she's been at the church still the whole time.
God, dear Sudi, oh God.
yeah.
Oh, wait, hold on. I'm gonna like grab her arm and like kind of like pull her to the side, like we're like huddled against like a wall or something. Irina, we're going to kill Isaac today. There's a lot of things that are about to happen, and I don't think it's the safest place for you to be here right now.
Why are you killing someone in the middle of a festival? I just thought I wanted to have a little fun instead of be cooped up in walls of a church.
The festivals here aren't fun.
Father Lucian gets a little boring.
Is Isaac more exciting for you?
He won't see me. There's so many people here.
He won't see you because we're going to kill him.
Even better, then he'll never see me.
Okay, listen. I will
Zielle,
try to...
Zielle, Strahd's not here. He's strayed away from Vallaki for hundreds of years. God knows he won't be back for another 100. Can't I have one day of fun?
I think maybe excitement is a better word. I don't know if fun is the right one. But... Okay.
And if anything, I can help. You said I'm a fighter. Let me fight.
I know... Zielle will sigh. And then... DL of like the plan, like, hey, like there's a bomb that's gonna go off, so don't be here. Then we're gonna fight Isaac. You can help if you want because he's crazy. Please, like, please be careful, please.
Zielle, we've been here like 3 fucking days? You've done all this in that time? We're having a revolution now and a bomb? That's it?
That was, of course that's one of the last things Tanis did.
Ah, what a way to go out at least.
Yeah, so we're here to finish it.
Then I want to be here too.
I know that you are a strong fighter, and I know that you will be of help. I do not want to hold you back from that because you deserve to fight for what you want to. I will be keeping an eye on you. I am less worried about you than I am other people, like Theren. So it's fine.
She chuckles under her breath. I'll keep myself safe. If anything, I'll end up helping Fiona's men if I can spot them easily and give you guys room. I'll stay as far away as I can while still being of assistance.
I think there's free popcorn over there.
She notices you, Alizzato, out of almost everyone aside from Zielle, as she tugs on her red hair and gives you a nod and a nice smile, as if gesturing to your own hair in acknowledgement because of how clean and shiny it is.
Thanks, Garnier. I look at her and then I just stop and then I just catch myself knowing she's looking at me and then I just go, Irina,
Ollie,
pleasure seeing you here.
you as well. I'm excited for the floats. You think they're going to be better than last time?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Zielle is behind Irina, motioning to Ollie. She's like, she knows, trying to enunciate it very clearly. She knows about the explode.
All right, stay safe. Keep your hood up. Show a little bit of that hair, but just please stay away from Isaac.
That's the plan.
Have you met Enzo?
Enzo's doing that dad thing because he's fully 6'7", so he's kind of above everybody. But he's doing the dad thing where he's trying to look and count and see where everybody went because he realizes they're not where they were. So he's and sees you, Alizzato, and then he turns to see Irina, who he's never seen in his life, and then just kind of who is this? Who? Hi, are you? Is this
Irina? This is Enzo. If you get lost or need someone to help you in any way that's not me, Theren, Dahlia, or Zielle, find him.
She looks up to you, puts her hand out as if you were to cradle it for an introduction. At least you'll be easy to find.
Okay, right. Are you with this group or are you
Undecided.
Do I need to keep up with you or are you going to be doing your own thing?
Pretend I'm not here.
Great, I can do that. Okay, but great to have met you.
You as well.
And then I guess he'll just sort of turn back again after having counted everybody and then looks back to the floats, trying not to make eye contact with Dahlia, who is still slightly scaring him with the smile and the unhinged eating.
You see just that, Enzo. Towering above the crowd, you begin to hear and see these horns growing slowly in volume as hooves begin to march slowly on the cobblestone, along with the creaking of wooden wheels under the heavy, heavy weight of these floats. Under these gray, almost threatening skies, you see a parade of unhappy children dressed as flowers, trudging through the muddy streets, leading the way for a group of sorry-looking men and women, forcing smiles, though their eyes tell a different story, pushing a cart carrying a 10-foot diameter wicker sun. The burgomaster follows the procession atop a large float, his signature pirate ship. The one you all saw not even a week ago when you entered the gates of Vallaki during the joyful jamboree. It's extravagant, yet still very shoddy, as he leads the way for the rest of the floats, trailing shortly behind him. Weary spectators watch from their stoops, the sidewalks, and all huddled around you throughout the town square as the sun, quote unquote, is brought upon the town of Vallaki. Out-of-tune instruments are ringing through the air. The dull eyes of the float riders are shadowed by the smiles of gymnasts doing acrobatic stunts across the streets, and floats throwing candy into the crowds. The wicker sun then begins to halt as it enters the town square, as a group of guards begin to hoist it on ropes, hanging the wicker sun from a 15-foot-high wooden pole attached to the stage that Enzo read his decree from the morning prior. Townsfolk take turns running up and splashing oil on the sun, as all you hear ringing throughout the air is, "All will be well," from the burgomaster's lips himself. As he waves to the crowd, he begins to brandish a torch, though sputtering under these skies, marching defiantly toward the bow of his makeshift ship, halted just at the base of the sun itself, standing 10 feet off the ground upon his wooden vessel. "Dearest Valachians, look at us, look at us, gathered together as one, under the same unyielding, foggy sky that has seen us through trials and triumphs. But this afternoon I come bringing you the sun, to put the darkness in the past, to put the terror in its place, to ensure we live amongst the warmth of the morning, Lord, and are bathed in the sunlight that even the devil himself cannot withstand. Look around you, every one of you. We stand tall, tall, stronger than any fear that would seek to divide us. What happened yesterday is nothing but a fleeting nightmare, one we woke from wiser. It is not carnage we carry, but courage in our hearts. It is not loss, but resilience. And now, let this flame I ignite today be more than light. Let it be a symbol of our unity, our indomitable spirit, and our refusal to bow to fear. This torch will burn away the lies, the doubt, and the despair. Let it be an ever-burning reminder that all will be well." The burgomaster raises his arm high and is met with a mix of cheers, boos, anger, and pleas of sadness. The world seemingly stops around you as his arm begins to move closer and closer until the floats halt. The instruments cease. The flame catches. The sun erupts in this burning orange glow as the crowd shifts to cheers. But only for a moment. With held breaths, the five of you swear you could hear the fuse itself light amongst the crowd. As in an instant, the explosion rings throughout the entirety of Vallaki. A purple and blue arcane flame begins to meld with this orange that's writhing throughout the sun itself as it sends wooden shrapnel from the sun, the burgomaster's ship shattering into the crowd of citizens as the crowd turns to sheer panic in an instant. Screams you know all too well ring through your ears once more as pandemonium has fallen over the town square. The purple and blue fire begins to stabilize and settle around the sun as you finally see a glimpse through the smoke of the burgomaster's decimated and burning float. His lower half standing tall, burning slowly, while his top half is nowhere to be seen. You see citizens around you, seeing the aftermath, begin to pull out makeshift daggers and swords, crossbows and shields, spears made of wood and posts, and make their way to the center of the square, pushing through the crowd of citizens, trying to halt any panic and keep them in one area. While the rest of the mixed crowd attempts to either flee for their lives or start their own revolution in the burgomaster's name, you see citizens finally snapping and jumping guards, fist-fighting others they know to be loyal to the burgomaster, all while Fiona's army is trying to calm the best they can, though are getting out of hands themselves. But through the chaos, the fires, the civil unrest, the smoke, one thing holds true. As if the sea of people is parted for you by Fiona's followers, standing amongst the flame, you see Isaac, emerging from the wreckage of the burgomaster's float, blood streaking down his right side of his face as his large crimson demon arm comes up and begins to wipe it clean, only to reveal that the right half of his face is entirely singed. though bringing his arm back down, great axe in hand, his demon arm erupts in flame as he peers at his surroundings. And you all. But this time, the flame matches the purple and blue flame of the arcane explosion that currently engulfed him. Staring through the sea of the crazed citizens, he locks eyes with each and every one of you. A grimace on his face as he slowly approaches, he lifts his great axe with one hand, pointing the tip directly at Theren. Before charging you all in a full sprint, I would love everyone to roll initiative.
Oh,
Holy
yeah.
shit.
Oh, yeah.
I think this went well.
Can I take an action quick before we go into initiative?
What you feeling?
As I see him raise this axe to Theren, Dahlia's eyes are gonna glow a little bit white, and a little bit of white is gonna dance on her fingertips, and she's just gonna gently tap Theren on the shoulder she relocated the first time they met. And this is Vigilant Blessing, so you give one creature advantage on the next initiative roll. So take this roll with initiative, Theren.
Oh, let's go.
That is a beautiful thing because I rolled a nat 1 on that first one.
Oh my fucking god.
13.
17.
16.
15.
18.
First and foremost, Zielle, you are going to start us off, though we're going to have a nice little layer/environment interaction. And since, Zielle, you are starting, I'm going to ask you to roll a d6 for me, please.
I got a 6.
That's pocketed. All right, Zielle, top of the round, let's hit it.
I will see this scary man who I don't even think is attractive anymore because he's too evil.
Rude, first off.
I'll step in front of Theren, kind of go to like meet Isaac. I'm just gonna try and swing first.
He is still just at the start of the round. I will let you know, 30, 35 feet away from you.
Is it 30 or is it 35? Because I can move 30 feet.
You could get in range at 30 feet.
I'll go to meet him. I'll see him coming out of the smoke and I'm like, no. And I will take a swing at him with my curved sword. Oh no, does a 16 hit?
It does indeed.
Oh, it does. Well, in that case, Ensnaring Strike. I'm gonna use my bonus action to cast Ensnaring Strike with this hit. So 7 slashing damage, and as she hits him, a writhing mass of thorny vines appears at the point of impact, and he has to succeed on a strength saving throw or be restrained.
Zielle, you see Isaac begin to charge through the smoke as the sea of people is parted for you. And you say, no, you're not coming to me, I'm coming to you. As you begin to charge up, you meet him halfway as you are able to get the first strike off. And tell me how this ensnaring strike restrains Isaac.
Oh.
She just has this look of dead set determination in her eyes. She's not trying to do anything flashy, not trying to do anything crazy. She's like, we came here to do this. We're going to end this creature. So she'll just go straight for a slash. Actually, let's go upwards, like waist to chest, like to try and kind of like duck under and get the first slash. And then the vines will burst out of there.
He is flustered, enraged, though grunting through his gritted teeth, staring daggers into your eyes, Zielle, especially after you got the first hit on him, being nimble enough to undermine his swipe. He is restrained. Is that the end of your turn, Zielle?
It's not. The Ensnaring Strike is my bonus action, but I have extra attack, so whenever I attack, I get to attack twice. So I think I just get another hit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Would I be rolling the second hit with the fact that he's ensnared or restrained, or?
Yes, attacks have advantage on the creature, and the creature's attack rolls have disadvantage.
Oh, crazy. Without even hesitating, as soon as the first slash lands, she'll cut back down with another slash. For a 22 to hit, that'd be additional 9 slashing damage. She stanced up, ready to go right in front of him, trying to like draw his attention.
Coming back around with another swipe, Isaac's eyes move to Enzo across the sea of people. And then we have Ali on deck.
Enzo is going to grunt that turns into sort of like a growl as he enters a state of rage. feel his blood burn, and he's gonna take off sprinting in that direction. So he's gonna go ahead and enter rage, and he's going to burn in action here, seeing that things are getting a little bit wacky. He casts Long Strider, so he's got an extra 10 feet of movement there, which gives him more than enough to like split the double team here between Theren and Alizzato. And I'm just going to sprint up right next to Zielle. Once I get there, head pumping, adrenaline flowing, not fully thinking about what is going to happen like after this moment. He's going to action surge. I'm going to try and just hit him in the head. And I'm rolling with advantage against him. 12 to hit total.
A 12 is going to miss on the first attack, but you do still have your second.
Come on. Okay, awesome. So even with advantage, I think I miss.
Oh.
I have inspiration. Can I burn that inspiration to roll again and see if I hit him?
I'll give you one extra roll. I won't give you advantage on it, but I'll give you an extra roll.
Just right. No. Yeah, just I'm burning the inspiration just to get the dice. And I'm going to roll a physical dice this time. Come on, baby. Don't do this to me. So that's a natural 1.
Oh.
Glad I used my inspiration for that. Just a bad day to be a big guy, I guess. Sprints in here and just wildly swings, and it is not happening.
It all happened in an instant. The smoke is getting caught in your lungs. It's just a little too much sensory overload on top of the intimidating presence of Isaac himself. We are to Alizzato.
They went and charted towards Isaac, but what's happening around us? Is it just a smattering of guards that came out and like the people fighting back?
Yes, it is a mix of Fiona's men who are slightly armed, mixed with those who are loyal to the burgomaster who are revolting at the same time, atop of a third group who are just helpless citizens trying to leave the area. In the mix, guards who were set on patrol to make sure that the festival goes accordingly are now caught amongst the mix of everything.
Are people actively getting hurt around us?
Oh yeah.
Shit. Okay, then I'll just begin by reaching underneath my armor, and then I'm gonna pull out a piece of oak bark, and then I'm going to touch it, cast bark skin on myself, and I'm going to run my hands up and down my shoulders, down my chest, and just create an outer layer of bark skin, so my AC goes from 15 to 17. I'll just keep my distance from where I am, but if Isaac is within that 30-35 feet, then I'm just gonna cast cantrip, bonus action, bark skin, action, cantrip, frostbite, and then I need Isaac to make a constitution saving throw.
That's a 21.
Wait. Upon seeing that you start to cast this, then that there is a disconnect between you and Isaac, that Isaac might beat you out on whatever you're trying to cast, Dahlia is kind of do the same thing that she did to Theren. Her eyes are going to kind of flash. She's going to just kind of appear behind you and tap you on the shoulder. Instead of a 21 or whatever Isaac rolled, he rolls an 8 instead.
That will fail, Alizzato.
Oh, let's go! Then I guess maybe like my spell begins to like crackle. It's very simple. I pull out cold like arrow before I cast it, my hand quivering, and then as soon as Dahlia taps my shoulder, look at her back, and then with anger, I unleash the frostbite. So then if he fails, that means that he takes 1d6 cold damage, which is a 4, and then you have disadvantage on the next weapon attack roll that you make before the end of your turn. So essentially, the next attack roll, disadvantage.
As you unleash that cold arrow, you see Isaac nearly engulfed in flame himself from his demon arm, that purple and blue just shimmering along his body. Though the tap from Dahlia sends this extra chilly shiver down your arm, and this spiraling magic begins to go about the trajectory of the arrow itself, almost fanning the flames away enough for it to hit him directly. Is that the end of your turn, Alizzato?
I'll move 15 to get a little closer, but I'm gonna keep my distance.
Before we get to Dahlia's turn,
What?
the crowds around you, guards are pushing away these ruffians. There are people just fist fighting amongst dog piles of other individuals and vigilantes. It is moving and swaying like the ocean itself as a wave of people sway towards the fountain and begin to crowd and almost engulf and surround themselves among Enzo, Zielle, and Isaac. I need strength saving throws
Oh, that's fine.
from the three of you, please.
Does he have disadvantage?
Oh no, he's at disadvantage on dexterity saving throws.
He's at disadvantage for being a bitch.
Well, I got a 19 because I'm very strong.
Okay.
I got a 20.
You both are not swallowed by the crowd, as well as Isaac. You see them begin to sway into you before they are nearly pushed back by the guards, as these crowds are just mixing so much they don't know where they're going or where they're trying to go to. You have avoided being swallowed by the crowd for now in this portion of the fight, and we're going to move to Dahlia.
We want Fiona's forces to win. How is it looking?
I will let you do a perception check just to take in your surroundings, if you'd like.
Yeah, love to. Oh, Jesus, my perception's great. 22.
It is hard to gauge who is for who in this point. Though you see the majority of Fiona's followers have weapons, though makeshift. Some weapons are better than none. You see they are trying to at least push the people back who are maybe siding with the Burgomaster or are just caught up in this mess that is happening right now. For the moment, you can see they have the upper hand. They're trying to get as much control over the crowds as they can.
Okay, you can tell me if I can do this or not. So what I would like to do is use my expenditure of Channel Divinity, but instead of doing my options, I want to spend that little tuft of magic to help oomph up my command spell. And I want to focus it on people who I know are most vulnerable and who are really getting hurt, I suppose. And I want to use my command spell and say, run. Her hair kind of lifts off of her shoulders a little bit, and she kind of just holds her hands up. This white light emanates in front of her and amplifies her voice, and she just says, run, and is hoping to command all of the people who are not meant to be fighting.
That is a DC of some sort, correct?
Wisdom 15.
Dahlia, I'm going to have you roll a d20.
Oh, okay.
I am going to roll my own d20.
Okay.
We're going to meet in the middle, and I'm not going to tell you what happens until the top of the round.
Oh, good.
Okay.
I was worried for a second.
I don't like it.
Ryan, you cheeky bastard.
Do we want to add anything to this or no?
I'll add it after it's met in the middle.
Okay. So it's just a flat d20. That's an 8.
Okay, noted. With Dahlia's voice protruding through the air, hopefully it is inspiring Theren for his turn.
I would like to move before. I want to move on the other side of Alizzato, kind of by the fountain.
Theren, let's hit it.
Theron's walking the full 30 feet forward, and as I do, I'm pulling Baron off of my back. When I get to that end of the 30 feet, I'm not taking my eyes off of Isaac at all. I'm going to stab the sword just straight down into the ground. The reverberation from that stab into the ground, you can see the vibration go down into the ground. A little bit of rubble just starts to travel between everybody's feet. A little line of it goes through Isaac's feet, 5 feet behind him. From the ground, you just see one pebble shoot straight up into the air with a little trace of dust behind it and bursts. And I'm casting Shatter.
Ooh, okay.
And it's going to be distance away from him enough where it won't hit anybody else. Constitution saving throw, please. 14.
That is a dirty 20.
You son of a bitch, dude.
Does he still take damage off that? I think he'll take half, correct?
Half as much damage on a successful save, so it's 3d8. Half a 12, 6 thunder damage, please.
The pebble trajectory was just a little too far off. Instead of going straight up like you wanted, it went in an angle inwards towards the wreckage of the Burgomaster's pirate ship as that pebble exploded. The shatter then affected the wood from the float itself as it pierced and splintered into Isaac's back. He still took some of that damage, though. You can tell it wasn't as effective as you hoped it would be.
As that explosion happens, this sound wave that comes off of it has a little bit of that purple mist that is always enshrouding Theren, and a little bit of it just sticks onto Isaac as he's hit from this sound, and it just overtakes his body. That's going to be Hexblade's curse on him as well for my bonus action.
With that curse slowly mixing with Zielle's radiant hold that she has on Isaac, you're going to move to Isaac. And now, Zielle, do you need anything from me as far as your ensnaring thing, or does that just cover his whole turn?
Let me roll a d6 for you. Okay, you take 2 damage from the thorns, and then you can use your action to make a strength check to escape.
Isaac is going to do that, especially seeing all 5 of you now advance upon him. He's going to try to break these vines. That is a dirty 20.
Fine.
What is up with your rolls today, man?
I know, it's good.
Dude, it's the saving throws. We'll see what else happens.
The vines fall apart against his so strong muscles, and he gets out.
He does still have disadvantage on the next attack roll he makes from Alizzato's Frostbite, though at the end of his own turn, he's going to use one of his legendary actions. All you see, Zielle, you think the vines are all set and he is constricted. He's torn and twisted up in himself. Though his demon arm, all you see is his fingers come together and a snap of that purple blue flame.
Oh no.
Thanos?
Everyone but Alizzato, can you make a dex save, please?
Oh god.
Oh my god.
Okay, that's fine. I have advantage on this.
Oh, dirty 20, dirty 20, dirty 20. Ha!
8.
That's a 12.
Dahlia?
Natural 20.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah. Enzo and Theren are going to fail as that small little snap ignites a flame in his palm, which he then just releases upon you all in this large spray of blue and purple flame. You all are taking 11 damage, 5 if you succeeded. With that out of the way, that is Isaac's turn. I so lied. He can move now.
Yeah, he could try.
He is going to take one opportunity attack from Enzo, as I am technically going to have him move around as he makes eyes for Theren.
Stop it.
Though technically barreling between the two of you, I will give Enzo an opportunity attack.
Let's go.
Come on. All right. I forgot this last time, but I've got Reckless, so my rage attacks are supposed to have advantage. He just also gets advantage if
Get
he's
out.
hitting me.
Yeah.
You can choose to Reckless, so you can choose whether you or not you do want to do that.
Okay. That's you know what? I don't need it. That's a 20. It's dirty. That's 8 damage as he's coming through.
Good punch as you come up with your fists, uppercut style, as he barrels and pushes the two of you aside, just so he can get face to face with Theren. That is the top of the round, as Zielle rolled a d6 for me previously.
Oh, wait a minute.
no.
I forgot. I thought we already did that. I thought
No,
that was the crowd thing.
Yeah,
I'm honest.
I got a
thought the
6,
crowd
so
thing was-
we succeeded. We got a 6.
From the side, you have the popcorn stands. There's food all about. There's merchants selling. The festival brings so many people to the town square,
No.
as well as potion stands. Can I have every single one of you roll me a d6 and let me know what you get, as one of the nearby potion sellers' carts erupts in flame as the liquids begin to crack and shatter and splash into the crowd, mixing and muddling with one another. For those who rolled a 1, you're gonna get 2d4 healing.
Thank you.
Fuck yeah, thanks, dude.
For those who rolled a 2, you're gonna take 2d4 poison damage.
Oh, thanks. That is 5 poison damage for me. Cool.
Did we have 2 3s?
Yeah,
Who?
Right here.
Enzo and Alizzato?
that's it, baby.
Beautiful. This is the fun one. Enzo and Alizzato. Amidst the smoke and the flames, the water begins to splash upon you. Enzo, you're bareback. You've got skin available to the earth, as well as Alizzato. As this liquid begins to muddle and seep into your pores, the smoke begins to go across your face. You don't know where you are, and suddenly, Enzo, you're further away than you thought you were. You're still hefty, but you're hairy. And Alizzato, damn, you're tall. You two are going to take each other's turns this next round of combat as you have switched bodies for the round.
What?
Dang.
Yo, am I Enzo right now?
You are Enzo, and Enzo is Alizzato.
Oh, dude. What the fuck?
So if you would like, you can share your character sheets in the general chat. This was a fun one. I'm very glad. I didn't think anyone would actually roll 2 3s on this, so that was.
Yeah, that's way more fun than poison damage.
This was only gonna happen if 2 people did it. If only one person did it, they would have been wild shaped, pretty much.
Ooh.
But I figured let's have fun. If 2 people roll it, we'll have a good time.
All right.
That'll be interesting as we are at the top of the round with Zielle and Enzo. Enzo as Alizzato is on deck.
Okay, well, ow. Whatever. I see that Isaac is free of his restraints, and I don't like that. So I am going to say grovel and cast command, which is a wisdom saving throw.
It's an 11.
On his next turn, the target will have the prone condition and then end its turn.
Oh shit!
Damn.
As he grovels in front of me. You hear Zielle just more serious than like you ever hear, and she's just like, grovel.
It was caught in his ear as he shoved himself rudely past you, making eyes on Theren, though something is coming over him as we are going to Enzo. Now, he is not prone until his turn, so it will be normal attacks, just for the rest of you all.
Why did I have to switch with somebody who's not a martial character? I play these characters because they're very simple, they're very easy. I can just punch people. So I
if
think
you need any help, don't ask me, because I'm Enzo.
for a moment, Enzo's just like, what? And then as his voice comes out and it's like way different, he's like, that's not me. Realizes he's in a different body, sees his own body, kind of has a moment of like, is that what I look like? And then kind of shakes that off. And I think he's gonna do, unfortunately, I'm sorry for this, Jose, in advance, but I think it just makes the most sense. He's probably just gonna do what he would have done if he was Enzo, which is just try and bulldoze.
Do it.
There's something here that looks really fun that seems to kind of fit called Primal Savagery. So we're gonna go for that. As he just sort of sprints in and kind of goes for this punch, and he realizes like his nails are kind of like extended into more like claws almost. There's a moment of a little bit of fear, but mostly kind of excitement. That is going to be, I roll a 4 on the dice. Absolute swing and a miss.
That rage transcended bodies and came over to Alizzato's, hence the fingernails extending as you run towards him and you swipe up trying to get him in his stomach, though you're much shorter than you thought you were.
Yeah.
The trajectory was just a little off as Enzo. Oh, is that the end of your turn?
I think so.
Alizzato as Enzo with Dahlia on deck.
Then I'll just look at myself, look down, see my towering height, look back, and brief existential crisis as I can see myself.
At least you look pretty today.
The greatsword, I'm gonna hold it, and for a moment just look at it, find himself a little lost before he just doesn't have time to think. He looks at Isaac, he looks how much he's just gaining traction, and I'm just gonna bring my axe up, and if I'm raging, then my blood starts to pulse. I feel my heartbeat in my ears, and I'm just gonna just scream and swing down with my greatsword. 17 plus 5.
Hell yeah.
2d6 plus 3, so 11 points of slashing damage.
As your sword comes down and you hit the pavement after hitting Isaac very well in the back, that spark from the pavement hit causes your eyes to blink and you squint a little bit for you to realize you're back in your own body. Ah! As we move to Dahlia with Theren on deck.
That was wild.
That was crazy. What was the result of my command to run?
You picked up that they tried.
Oh, I don't like that.
You can see their directions are towards the outer center of this town square and towards the streets, towards their homes. Though, as of right now, you can see the crowds are still pretty huddled.
God, I just hate the idea that a bunch of innocent people are getting got around us.
No one is being outright killed.
Uh-huh.
It is more so just a bloodthirsty rage. of fists and daggers.
I don't know that that's better.
I don't know if it is either.
But still, Fiona is looking like she's coming up on top.
You could gather as of right now.
So then Dahlia, seeing that there's no desperate need for healing, her eyes have been kind of consistently glowing as she's using her magic, and you guys kind of notice the more she uses it, the more the white of her eyes consumes the black. Zielle, because we're kind of right across from each other, would catch that she whispers a word under her breath. I don't think anybody else would hear it, but you are the only one who can kind of decipher that she is speaking, as I'm casting Holy Word, and only holy bitches can hear the holy word. I need to attack. This is her first attack roll. Okay, Jesus Christ. This is crazy. That's a 19 on the dice, plus 7 is a 26. I literally never, ever roll this well.
Damn.
Ever.
I have no idea what holy word is.
I'll tell ya. So we've got 2d8 radiant damage. So that's a 9 damage. And if you hit a Fey, Fiend, or Undead, its speed is reduced by 10 and it can't take reactions until the end of its next turn. I don't know if he is any of the a Fey, a Fiend, or an Undead, but if he is, he can't do those things.
Isaac is not pure demon, Dahlia. Though what did you roll damage-wise?
A d8.
I'll let you roll an extra.
10.
A generous Ryan is a dangerous Ryan.
Is that the end of your turn, Dahlia?
That is my turn because I don't want to leave because I don't want him to get me.
At the end of your turn, Dahlia, Alizzato, Dahlia, and Theren, you see the crowd on the right again begins to shift and wave back and forth. It is hoping to engulf you and swallow you amongst the crowd. Can I get strength saves from the three of you, please? Isaac will also be rolling.
Strength save. Ooh, that's
15 for Theren.
Oh, baby! Natural one.
Oh no!
16.
Theren and Dahlia, you both pass as the crowd begins to shift and you're able to squeeze between these goers, dodge some knife attacks and a spear headed for your head. Though, Alizzato, the shock of being back in your own body is a little too much as citizens around you are roughing each other up. You find one hook come at you and you're gonna take 6 bludgeoning damage as a stray punch finds your chest. The others begin to slowly move you and morph you amongst this crowd. You are moved 10 feet down, 5 feet east. You are now swallowed by the crowd, Alizzato. This is rough terrain. Any attacks you make amongst the crowd are at disadvantage.
Okay.
We have Theren.
Okay, so he's right next to me.
He pushed between Enzo and Zielle to ensure that he was face to face with you.
And as he comes right up in front of me, that sword that's stabbed in the ground, 2 hands going on the hilt of it, and I'm just pulling it up and aiming the tip of it right towards his face as I try to just swing it straight up at him. 15 to hit.
That is going to hit Theren.
Oh, hell yeah, it is. So that is 12 slashing. I'm going to expend one of those 2 uses for the Eldritch Blast as well. So that's a D10.
As well, just to let you know that we'll use your reaction.
Yeah, oh, yes. An extra 5.
And last part of that, do you want to push him 5 feet back or no?
Absolutely. I want to try to push him right into that crowd so that sword's going to come up and the tip of it just hits right under his chin. And as it does, that little bit of mist just sticks there. And as his head goes back, that mist just expels out and it just pushes him back.
As you see him now thrust backwards 5 feet from that uppercutted sword, he begins to barrel into the citizens. Theren, is that the end of your turn before I go on to more descriptions?
Can I move forward after that?
Of course.
I want to keep moving straight at him.
You find him just on the edge of one of these crowds of people that are just tussling amongst each other. After he just barreled through Enzo and Zielle to get face to face with you, that is the first thing he is met with. At the end of your turn, Theren, as he is being launched backwards, he's going to use one of his legendary actions to control flame. As he is launched backwards, his arms begin to flail. That demon arm sends a spark. What was meant for you is now launched across the town square. and it finds itself among a firework cart.
Oh,
Can I
shit.
have you all roll a Constitution saving throw as these fireworks begin to crackle and pop and shoot amongst the crowd, some landing at your feet, others blasting you in the face.
Do you guys remember when I used to be the worst roller in this campaign?
Yep. Thanks for giving that to me. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome. I think it's passed on to Enzo. I got a dirty 20.
Damn.
Yeah. I rolled a 6, so that's 12.
Oh, we're cute 12 bros.
17 plus 1, 18.
I will never roll this good again in my life. 23.
Good
Oh my god.
Enzo and Theren, as these fireworks begin to shoot off into the crowd, some find themselves coming a little too close to you. You are going to take 6 fire damage each, as well as be blinded until the end of your next turn, as these fireworks begin to explode in your eyes and you just can't get the vision to inspect your surroundings. The rest of you are able to hear it go off in the distance. You hear the fuses, just like the bomb, you know to duck and cover for a moment as they begin to shatter and sparkle all around you. That is going to be Isaac mid-air. As he falls into this crowd, he finds himself prone, thanks to Zielle's command. Taking a large hit, nothing really going right for him in this fight so far. Sea of people, some stomping on him, others dropping knives or just falling next to him after taking a stray hit. His head begins to turn to the left as he looks at the chaos around him. And across the sea of people, on the opposite side, that red hair begins to flow under a hood as a rapier is drawn from the crowd, as Irina begins to join the fray. Hair back, hood down, as she starts to jab at some of these Burgomaster loyalists. But the one thing that you hear, Theren, as you step up towards Isaac, in between coughs of smoke. Sister. And for today, that's a wrap.
Bro!
Oh my god. I thought we were getting through the whole combat tonight.
Sister?
What?
God damn it.
Thank you all so much for listening. I'm so excited. We get our first little BBEG fight, I guess you could say. Our first villain of the story. And it will be concluded in the next episode, so be sure to come back in 2 weeks. I will see you all there. I will see you all soon to conclude this fight. Good luck. You'll need it. Bye, everybody.
No, we don't.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye!
We don't need luck with how we're rolling.
Speak for yourself.